All right, we're just here with Moose. We're at the door here. We're about to work on some thresholds. This is his first day here, and this will be the first experience he has with our work with boundaries and thresholds. And basically, we're gonna let him realize here, let him discover where the boundary is at the door, and how to get past that boundary without receiving a correction. So we're using the e-collar here. We're gonna turn it up to a level that we know he's gonna respond to. So probably about a 15 or so. We've done a bit of recall tone training with him already, tone work with him, tone recall. And so we're gonna go open the door here. And once we open the door here, if he tries to rush through, we're gonna mark that with an NO and we're gonna apply the correction. So I'm gonna open the door here. No, come. Good, we're gonna recall him back in here using our recall. So again, marking that with a no, applying that correction. And what we're gonna do here is back up again, try this again. Moose. See how he responds this time. Same thing. No. Come. No. Moose. Come. Good. All right. Trying again here. At the doorway. Moose. Moose. Gonna get some eye contact from him here. Not always easy. Sometimes a bit sloppy. Good. Sitting, I like that. Moose. Break. Good job. And then we introduce that break command. And we release him. Not the prettiest off with this guy. But you'll see here after we do that a couple times, he'll really figure out where that boundary is. And that's also part of that, is just finding that level that he responds to. All right, good job. We're gonna head out. Okay, I am just here with Moose. This is his first day here. We've done a little bit of work with him earlier this morning when he arrived, getting him introduced to the e-collar, getting him used to the tone recall, the normal stuff we do on the first day, and getting used to the crate, of course. And now we're just out here for a long leash walk with him. So he's out on the 30-foot leash. And basically what the objective is for this walk, we're just keeping it to like the back streets and stuff like that in my neighborhood. So it's quite a quiet walk, although we do have some dogs up here. So it's quite a quiet walk. But what we're basically doing is we're allowing him to go bump into the boundaries that we want to set, that we want to teach him here. Boundaries like running out into the road, running way ahead of us, lagging too far behind, running off towards people or other dogs that he hears and sees behind fences or in the alley. All of those things, what we're doing is we're saying we're going to correct that. So as soon as he wanders towards them, we're going to correct those things, and then we're going to recall him back to us. So if he wanders towards something that I don't necessarily want him to engage with, we're gonna correct that, and we're going to recall him back to us. And what we get after we do this, we call this bumping into the boundaries. So we're allowing him to basically bump into these boundaries that he doesn't really know exist yet. So he has to go discover these boundaries, and the way he discovers them is by bumping into them and getting corrected for it. And so as we walk around, if he wanders too far ahead, if he wanders over towards the trash cans, towards other dogs that are up ahead, whatever the case is, we can use the e-collar to correct those things. And he's on the 30-foot long leash here as well, so that really gives him the opportunity to explore these opportunities, right? It gives him the chance to explore these boundaries and really discover them for himself. And so works really well. As you can see, he's on a 30-foot leash. We're not holding that leash tight, and he's actually following us. And this is only the second time we've even worked with him, taken him out of the kennel and worked with him. And already we're getting that follower state of mind instilled in him. It's amazing how quickly this stuff works when you do it properly. And honestly, I don't think anybody's doing it like this other than, a few select people, the people that I learned it from, and then maybe a few other people. But it just works so good. Now he's following me beautifully. He's not going off to explore all these options that he was exploring before, not going towards the fences, not running up towards those dogs and people that were ahead of us. And just like that, within day one, with the use of the e-collar, the tone recall, and the stimulation, we're able to get almost a perfect off-leash heel. Now he's wandering ahead here, so we'll see if we can get the opportunity to show you what that good boy, what that correction would look like. Now, the opposite side of correcting those unwanted behaviors is praising the behaviors we do want, or reinforcing the behaviors we do want, which is him being behind us or beside us. Good boy. Hey, Moose. Him following our direction. Those are all things we want. So, got some people out here. We'll see what he does. Come on, pup. Really good. Good job, buddy. He's doing great. So we're still just out here doing the same thing. He's not in a command or anything. We haven't really, he knows commands, of course, but we haven't really started applying commands to any of the training we're doing with him yet. We don't typically like to jump into that stuff too quickly. Sorry if the camera's all over the place. It's not easy to film this all the time, so. Again, good distance behind me here, following my lead. If I slow down, he's gonna slow down. He's gonna look at me. Good boy. I'm gonna praise that. And some dogs across the road here. He's just got other things to focus on. He's got to focus on me, right? Now that we've done some of this bumping into boundaries work, now he really realizes that if he just follows my direction, if he follows me, he's never going to bump into those boundaries. He's never going to get that consequence. And so he learns like that to just pay attention to what I need him to do. And I'll give him permission to explore these things, right? I'll tell him, right, go explore this, right? But until I do that, there's a good chance it's probably not for him, and I probably don't want him to engage with that. Especially a dog like him that's known for his reactivity. And aggressive responses towards people and other dogs. Good boy. So we're just taking him for a walk on the block here. Basically just taking a video of the whole thing. So you can see what that looks like. Now we are coming up to a road up here. Although we did just cross a road back there too. We're gonna start teaching the boundaries of these roads as well. Not to rush out into the road without our permission. He's doing a great job staying behind us. I should also mention that one of his biggest behaviors, one of the biggest things that this guy's here for is for chasing cars. He has a massive affinity for chasing cars. That's one of the biggest things we're addressing, and well, we quite simply have not seen it. And I don't suspect we will. Again, he's got other things to focus on, right? We've showed him some boundaries, not even one of the boundaries we haven't even set the boundary of not chasing cars. We haven't needed to yet. And yeah, maybe that time will come, but just setting a few other boundaries in other areas of life, that does it, right? Like we talked about that 80-20 rule, right? And this is all about that. Again, this is like one of the first things that we do. Once we teach that concept of that tone recall, when they hear that beep, it means to avoid the stimulation that follows. They need to come running to us. Once we teach that, we're good to go out on these long leash walks and do some bumping into boundaries work. And that's what this is here. Again, 30-foot leash. Got some cars coming here. Again, he chases cars, so let's keep that in mind. And now, not even looking at them. Why might that be? Why might he not even be looking at these cars? It's a huge, huge issue for his owners. They spent thousands of dollars to try and correct this issue, amongst others. And he comes here, and we apply a correction for a couple other things. Him trying to run across the road, him trying to run out the door. That's really the first boundary, and I think really one of the only ones that we needed to set with him. The boundaries that we set was running through that door, right? And once we corrected that, once we said, no, don't run through that door without us giving you permission to do that, once we corrected that impulsive decision, as well as taught that recall on the e-collar, now we no longer see the same impulsive behaviors that caused his owners to bring him here, right? We don't see that reactivity towards cars. We don't see that chasing of vehicles. And perhaps somebody